Okay, let's begin our meditation. I'm just kidding. I just like to get the vibes right before I start filming. Got my herbal tea. Normally, I'm a chamomile girl through and through, but today we're doing a loose leaf hibiscus, spearmint, nettle. This is a really good combination for menstrual cycle, but that may or may not be very chic. So that's not really what we're here to talk about. I've been talking a lot about my fashion, even interior design rebrand of myself over this past year, possibly even these past couple of years. And with that, I've been thinking a lot about the things that I find very chic. It wasn't really a purposeful thought at first. At first, it was just like, I really enjoy this. This is very chic. And along the route of me discovering my personal style, I realized chic is definitely a part of that. Like, I enjoy things that are very chic. I definitely have seen like people posting videos kind of talking about this, but I've tried my best to stay away from watching them for the most part because I wanted to have like my own idea of what I find chic. I did watch one just because I was like, what is this about? Like, what are we talking about? And then when I watched it, I was like, I really enjoy this. I wish I could remember this creator, but I think this is the first time that I came across them. I have 3 categories today. The first category I have is fashion. A good thing to start with so you understand how I see chic is to tell you my definition of chic. When I think of chic, it's definitely something that feels elevated, something that feels true to you, but it also has a touch of like imperfection. Chic to me feels elevated, but at the same time lived in. Like it feels realistic. And so that is how I see chic. To put it in words that I feel like is really popular right now and I feel like everybody will understand, it's not like the prim and proper old money look. Like that's not the look that comes to mind when I think of chic, like at all. And not that I think it's a bad style, but chic, oh, it's interesting. I think that's what it is. Like when something is chic, there's a hint of interest there. And when there's interest, I feel like something is always off, but in a good way. I really hope that makes sense. And you can see it a completely different way. And I think that's what makes, your chic is because like you see it differently from other people. I feel like it's a person who rewears the same pieces over and over again. So number 1 on the list, rewearing the same pieces over and over. I can tell you, obviously, I've very much matured as far as life goes, as far as fashion goes, since I started this channel, because old me would have never ever let that come out of her mouth. I was definitely a believer in, if I'm going to show up on Instagram, on YouTube, in real life, I can't wear the same outfit again. Like, everybody needs to be wowed by something completely new, something completely different, and I do not feel this way at all anymore. When I think of the most chic people, like in history, in fashion, in social media, it's always the people that I feel like have a consistent look about them. And a lot of times this look is very consistent because they probably wear the same pieces over and over again. They've kind of allowed these pieces to be kind of a signature for them, kind of like a second skin. They wear them so much. I think there really is just something about re-wearing the same piece over and over again, especially if it's a really good piece. Next on my list, I have silver jewelry. I feel like silver is kind of having its moment right now. I think gold is a nice color and it comes in really nice pieces. I feel like gold probably has the more abundant choices because I think it's the more popular pick. But when I think of silver jewelry, I just think of like kind of mysterious, sometimes even edgy, but very often very elevated. Okay, next on my list is lesser known or not as popular vintage handbags. The bags that typically stop me dead in my tracks are not like the Birkin bag that you already know what it is, you see it a million times. Chanel bag, like it's got the CC. I have a Chanel bag. It's not that one. It is those bags that are mostly just whispered about. Like everybody's not like screaming to the top of the mountain doing unboxings of them. And it might be my specific algorithm, but I have just been coming across bags like this so much on Pinterest. The air of mystery to them, that they are not talked about so much, but also to their core, these are really gorgeous bags. I don't know if I was really ever the person that just really wanted the bag that everybody was talking about. There were some bags that everybody was talking about and I'm like, yeah, I do like this bag, I would like this bag, but that was not the only criteria for me to want a bag. I would say I've kind of always been drawn to the more like vintage bags, but maybe not always the lesser known ones. But there's just something about, number one, a vintage bag. It looks lived in. Someone already did the dirty work for you. I feel like we've already been doing this, and I really appreciate like that everybody's just getting into like the lesser known, maybe not the most popular bag on the internet, secondhand vintage bags. Like, you do not have to spend $1 million on a bag to look very chic. In fact, you might look more chic if you don't. Next on my list, I feel like this one is very obvious for me, but elevated cozy wear. Obviously, does anyone remember, or like, are you still going through that era of wearing college t-shirts to bed? I know I definitely did that for years. I had a drawer specifically full of random t-shirts that I acquired from sports in high school and college games and things like that, and those are the things that I would wear around the house. Those are the things that I would go to sleep in, and I let go of those like a few years ago. I can count on one hand how many t-shirts that I have like that, just, you know, for comfort, or, you know, when I'm feeling really like bleh that day, I may put it on. But for the most part nowadays, it's second nature for me to walk around in the house like this very often. It may not always match, but I probably always have on like some type of elevated loungewear. I feel like one of the better things you can do to get the most out of life is really romanticize those little things. And what better way than to elevate the things that you wear the most? Next on my list, and this one kind of intertwines with the silver jewelry, but it doesn't have to be silver. Arm cuffs are so chic to me. I think it also just speaks to the fact that I've really always loved the boho look and style. I started dabbling into that look when I was in college, but I always thought like, if you're gonna go boho, you've got to go full boho. And that's really just not the case. Like, you can add little touches, and one of those boho touches that I really enjoy are the arm cuffs. I feel like they're really so versatile, and you can do so much with them. They can be elevated, they can be very laid back. I love to throw an arm cuff on with like a big boxy t-shirt, but like the next day, if I have like a date night, I'll have like a long slinky dress on with an arm cuff. I recently went on a vacation, and with a lot of my swimwear, I would wear like my arm cuff bracelets. I really also like that they're bendable. So if you don't want to wear them like right here, you can also wear them like higher up, or like right here. You can mix and match them, mix and match the colors. I just love things that you can do so much with. The variations that you can have with them. You can go like higher end, Tiffany & Co. and get those, but you can also find them like vintage or like handmade on Etsy, which I think is very beautiful to find something that someone, you know, put in their hard work, crafted for you. Ugh, so chic. My tea has finished. That's perfect. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this next one, it's a little annoying with me, but I have to be honest. I have to share my truth. But there's not many people I feel like that would disagree, and I think that's why it might be annoying for me to say it, because it's like, yeah, girl, we all feel this way. Very chic to me, the Olsens. Obviously, the Row, the Olsens. I personally am not buying the Row, but I love to watch their fashion shows and save their clothes for inspo. When I see a piece that I'm like, I might need to just have that, I might invest if I feel like I can really like wear that thing into the ground. But I also just love seeing their streetwear themselves. You can see like it really aligns with their brand, which is really, really cool to me. Their brand looks like them. It just feels very authentic when it is done that way. But I think what I appreciate about the Olsens the most, yes, they dress really cool. They wear like these really high-end things. Their brand is really expensive, but I think what I enjoy about it is it's always practical. Like, whenever you see them, you don't think, why in the world would you wear that here? It always feels very natural, and that's what I like. It doesn't feel forced, and I think that is just so chic. Like, you can tell they're very themselves when it comes to fashion, but somehow they just always look really cool. Their outfits, I feel like, aren't something where a lot of people would be like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. But I feel like it always looks elevated, but also always fits the activity. Like, they're wearing something comfortable that makes sense, and I think that's what makes it cool. They're just being real, but still looking like really elevated while doing it. Next up on my chic list, basic outfits with statement accessories. You'll hear me talk about my previous style and how I styled over the years a lot, and it took me a really long time to feel comfortable in a basic bare minimum outfit. And the reason being, and one of you actually put this best, I read in my comments that you too were changing your style. You didn't feel confident in moving in that direction because you were used to being the girl where everybody's like, I love your outfit, like you're so original, you don't dress like anybody else out there, and that is so cool. When I tell you I resonated with that comment like crazy, I have learned, I'm sorry, I do like to wear more basic outfits. I will wear a big white t-shirt, white jeans, and call it a day. But I will say, as I've been building my capsule wardrobe for myself, I can't leave it there. So I love a very bare outfit, like very unimpressive. When you add those statement impressive accessories, like a really cute belt that you just put on top of your jeans, as I was mentioning, like the cuffs earlier, or one thing I really like to do, like for spring and summer, a hair scarf. I think that is just so chic, because I don't know, it just doesn't feel very try hard to me. They always come off very fashionable, but they never come off as like, this person is uncomfortable. I look back at my old self and my like outstanding outfits, and it's like, oh yeah, cool, it was edgy, but like I never looked comfortable, and I feel like that's where we lost like the chic. Dare I say, I feel like these are some of the most fashionable people, the people that have like the base style, but they know how to just add these minuscule things to really make an impressive outfit. They don't need a statement pair of pants. They know how to accessorize, and I love that. Another thing that I've really been loving, gravitating to, I have not accomplished this yet, so to those who have, wow, I'm very impressed with you. An elevated ring stack, the perfect curation of rings on your finger. I feel like I'm going through this phase right now where I'm trying to build my ring collection, and I think it's really gonna take me longer than I thought, just because I really want to get high quality rings. That is a good way to make me jealous, to see a woman in rings and it just looks like she's worked on that ring collection. Everything just fits her flawlessly. They're all different patterns or possibly textures or possibly even metals, like it's mixed metals, yet they look like they were always meant to be together. I'm working on it myself. I think it's going to take many years, at least a decade probably, before I can say like I have the perfect ring stack. This is something I have discovered I really love, and I think it's just my most favorite type of thing to wear. High neck tops to me are just so chic, the epitome of chic. Don't take a shot every time I say chic, because you will be going to the hospital. But I think I discovered this when I discovered I was really drawn to turtlenecks, and I think I've known this for many years, but since like honing in on my personal style these past couple of years, I was really like, yeah, I really like turtlenecks. But what I learned from liking turtlenecks and how I look with like a sleek back like bun, the high neck turtleneck, is that I just like high neck cuts in general. I just think they are so elegant. I feel like people are always telling me all the time, thank you for being so elegant and modest, and I'm like, I'm not really purposely trying to be modest. I'm just really drawn to a high neck, and I think it just comes off as that. I don't really mind. I think it's very pretty, but any high neck top, like even when it comes down to my t-shirts, I will wear a v-neck t-shirt, but it's not the thing that I feel like the most comfortable and confident in. I don't feel like it's as me to wear one, but a super high neck cut crew neck tee, my favorite thing. If I want to show a lot of skin, there's a good chance I'm going to find a top that has like the high neck in the front, but like the entire back out. That's my dream combination. The next thing that I find very chic is dressing for the occasion. I touched on this a little bit when I was talking about the Olsens, why I love their style, why I love their fashion. What I didn't touch on is the reason I really love their style is it never comes off as costume-like. It always fits where they're going, where they're at, and there's just something about that to me that is very chic. I feel like we have come to an era in fashion, and we've probably just circled back to it again. I'm sure it's been a thing in the past, but where it's become really cool. If you're not a cool fashion girl, if you're not wearing things that don't go together and it's very random, and you're not showing up to like, I don't know, Walmart and super low rise pants, a super bralette top, and like platform boots. I'm literally explaining to you like how I used to dress. And the thing about that was really cool. If you would have placed me at an event outside, you know, like a party and drinks and stuff. I think that's really clicked for me when I saw somebody talking about the Hunter rain boots, and someone wore them to a festival, like a really, really hot festival. But they said their inspiration was kind of like of a vintage inspiration. I think it was a celebrity who wore her like Hunter boots to a festival. The difference was one person had their Hunter boots on at a hot festival. There was not going to be any rain. Their feet were not going to be messy. They were just going to be melting in some rubber boots. And the original person who did it, the festival that they went to, it's known for being very muddy, very messy. Like, you wouldn't want to wear like your nice shoes there. You wouldn't want to wear platform heel boots. A rain boot really makes sense, and that's what made it look so chic. I feel like sometimes when we try to do edgy and cool, sometimes it can come off as a little try hard if it is in the wrong setting. And so that's just something that I've been trying to think about when I get dressed. And I haven't perfected it yet. There's something to be said about outfits that fit the occasion. And that can be said for dressing down or dressing up. So we've made it to the home category of things that I find very chic. I've been putting a lot more thought into the idea of interiors since moving into the apartment I live in now. Just because the last apartment I lived in, which was the first apartment I ever lived in by myself, and I didn't want to come with a lot. And also that apartment really didn't give me any flexibility to do that much, to be honest. But this one, I feel like it's really allowed me to play around with like my personal interior design style. And that's been really fun. Some of the things that I've learned that I really, really enjoy, I think they're very chic when it comes to home decor. Number one, random and frequent book stacks. Not everybody enjoys that look, and I know this because it's something that I do in my apartment, and I will show like my decor and like how I'm decorating something. And I've gotten several people to tell me, you know, you should take those books down. You should hide the books behind a chair. You should take the books out of the fireplace mantle area. It's not cute. It's not giving what you thought it gave, girl. It feels very warm and cozy to me. It makes me feel like it's the real library, because the real library doesn't match. It's not color coded. It's not perfectly stacked. All the books aren't new. They have their quirks. And I really like that. I don't know. What is that called? If anybody knows what that's called, like why I like that, let me know. But in my head right now, I just think it's very chic. Maybe that's weird, but I love it. If the girls get it, they get it. Next on my home list, catch-all dishes. I'm honestly a person that's not really good at attention to detail. But one thing I started noticing as I was planning like my home boards, my Pinterest boards, when I saw flat lays that I really enjoyed, dressers and desks and vanities that I really liked, I noticed probably all of them had catch-all dishes. They come in so many different shapes and sizes, art forms. You can make them yourself. You can buy them from an artist. You can find vintage ones. It's a way to organize those random things that you have in your home that you don't really have a place for in a beautiful way. And I think that is just so chic. I don't have much to say about that one. I feel like it speaks for itself. Next, mixing vintage and new inside of your home. I do think this is something that is becoming more popular, and I really love to see it. I feel like we're getting away from the whitewashing of the home, everything being super modern. My home, you're probably looking at the background, you're like, you have a lot of white going on, for sure. And I used to have way more white going on. Like the pillows, they were not dark velvety green in my last apartment. I don't think I had art with any color in it. Like, I still am a very toned down person when it comes to interior design. I don't like bold, bright colors, but I do like kind of like muted earth tone colors like greens, vintage blues. In my own home personally, I've been loving mixing vintage with new. I just feel like it's the best way to add interest to your home without making it look like a catalog. If I was to solely get something from one brand, like this couch, this is Crate and Barrel. If I was to decorate my whole entire home in Crate and Barrel, it would look like we're walking inside of Crate and Barrel. Personally, I don't want it to look like my apartment is Crate and Barrel. I want it to feel like me, you know, tell you a little bit about me if you did not know me. I think that's what I appreciate about vintage and new. It just gives you so much wiggle room to work with. Probably also never going to decorate fully vintage. And I feel like that would be a surprise to some people. Like, they probably would think I'd love a home that like has nothing but vintage in it, and I can appreciate it because I'm a person, I love history. I love a museum, okay? I love going into old historical homes that have like all that vintage, but that's also too extreme for me. It also feels like too much a blast in the past for me. I'm not gonna go into what I just thought of, but like if I lived in a home like that, I would feel a certain way. I don't really want everything in my home to be vintage either. Next, intentional cluttered kitchens. I know I've discussed on my channel that I really don't like a bare kitchen. I love kitchens that look like they're lived in. Now, the ones that are bare, I do find them very beautiful, but the aspect that they're missing for me is cozy. And that is something I really love. Like, as somebody who is like a die-hard homebody, everything just needs to feel very cozy to me. It needs to feel homey. Like, I don't want people to come in and feel like they can't like sit down or something. You can put salt and pepper inside of your cabinet and keep it tucked away, but why not find a beautiful dish to keep it in and use it that way, especially since it's something that a lot of us, if we cook very often, we're gonna use like every day. I'm just not shy when it comes to keeping things on my countertop. I feel like you can apply this to like any place in a home, but a place where I really appreciate it is in the kitchen. Last on the things I find chic inside of a home list, mixing interior design styles. So earlier I mentioned I love seeing like people mix modern and vintage. I tried the whole thing of like, I'm gonna go with this decor style, but now looking back, I don't think I would have enjoyed it that much, just because it doesn't feel as homey to me to stick to one interior design style. When I think of places that have like one interior design style, I think of hotel lobbies, I think of resorts. All those places are very beautiful, but they're not home. I feel like it's unrealistic for us to try to keep ourselves in a box when it comes to interior design style. Like, I think it's completely natural for you to like a little bit of that over there and just put it together. When I was decorating, I started reading a lot of interior design books, and one book that I actually have, I think it's called The Parisian Apartment. In it, the author was talking about, you know, the art of decorating your apartment. She said when it comes to decorating your apartment, you don't have to be like super curated, super meticulous about what you put inside your apartment. Literally, if you find it beautiful, put it in there. It'll go together. Like, because we worry like, will this match this? Will this match this? When I started following that rule, I couldn't have been more happy with how my interior design style looked. I'm no longer worried like, if I'm gonna take this home, is it gonna match? The question to myself was, do I find it beautiful? Is the answer yes? Well, of course it's gonna look great, because this place is filled with all the things that I find beautiful, and that's what makes like my home me, and makes it comfortable for me, and just makes it my most perfect place on earth. And that's why I've always told you guys, my apartment is very heavily influenced by like the Parisian style interior. Those were one of the few styles that I saw that just seemed to allow anything. And I think it's beautiful. I think it just adds interest, and again, kind of just speaks to who you are, and what is more chic than that. So we come to the category of beauty. For my beauty category, the first thing that I find very chic, that may be an unpopular opinion nowadays. It may be unpopular, but look, these are the things that I find chic, okay? So, number one, aging. I think aging is so beautiful. Number one, it's such a blessing to age, but I'm not even trying to be like woo-woo or anything, or like you should be happy with who you are age. No, there is such an elegance to women who just allow the natural process of aging. Again, you can do whatever you want. There was a point where I considered there will be a point in time where I will get Botox to keep my face frozen to where I am, where society sees me as like the most beautiful. And I've been over that for maybe 1 or 2 years now. I think I'm at a point now where I don't foresee myself doing anything to my face, and not even putting like Botox in it to keep me as youthful as I am. And the person that really inspired me with this, it was one of my favorite people when I was in high school. I loved her so much, would watch all of her movies, had room decor with her all over it. It was really corny, but you know what? I'm not mad at 16-year-old me. Like, she's a good role model. Audrey Hepburn is one of the people that comes to mind when I think of a woman who just let herself age. This woman did it with such grace. She is one of the most elegant people, I think, that like I can tell you about right now. And one thing that you notice about her, as she got older, which I might do like the red light therapy things and things like that, you know, drink teas to keep myself looking healthy, because I don't think there's a designated way you're supposed to look when you look older. I think it's different for everyone. Like, I'm gonna keep myself looking healthy, but I've decided I really just don't want to do anything unnatural to obtain that. I think it's so chic to just have, you know, all the evidence that you've lived a life. You know, you've went through trials and tribulations, but like you're still here. The next one, this is pretty straightforward to the point. Short haircuts. I think they are absolute chef's kiss. It's not something I have myself, but when I see the girls with a pixie, with a short, like boyish cut, I think it's so cute. It's so cool. Okay, that's all I got to say. Like from the curly ones to the straight ones, it's so cool. A shortcut, like a shortcut just automatically makes you more fashionable. Like I'd probably be more fashionable if I cut my hair in a shortcut. I personally just like having long curly fro type look, so that's what works for me. But I'm just here to say I see what y'all are putting out and I appreciate it. That's it. Next one, I feel like you'll see a little bit of a pattern here, but I find physical quirks very chic. I think we've really discovered by now that getting work done according to the trends is just not a good idea, because those trends do fluctuate. Like I remember when the girls were adding like freckles, and I think we're still kind of doing that, but I remember the girls who actually had like freckles all over their face being like, I used to get made fun of for this like in school, and like so fair, so real. I know that was a big thing with like the lips. Women were talking about I was being made fun of for having fuller lips, and now everybody's getting fuller lips. I think it's just such a cool and chic thing to accept like the physical quirks. A close person in my life, she has been wanting to get braces, and I told her, you know, do whatever makes you comfortable. Like I want you to do whatever makes you feel the most confident, but honestly, when I look at you and I see you smile, I think, wow, she has a really pretty smile. I don't think, oh, she should get that fixed. But another person I can think of who everybody thinks is very beautiful, who has that same thing, is Zendaya. And some people, you know, are just mean and they may say things like, oh, she needs to get it fixed. But I've never looked at her and thought, you know, she'd look a lot better if she got that fixed. Like, I think it's interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I hate the trend of everybody trying to look like everybody else, because I feel like it just takes away from like the natural beauty that you already have. We all have that one thing that we were born with, at least one thing that really just stands out. And I feel like when you take that away, like it's art to me, you know? Like I really feel like humans are art. I'm not here to tell anybody not to do these things. I'm mostly here to tell the people, if you are feeling like conflicted, I say keep it. It's art to me. Don't tamper with the art. Another term I think for physical quirks is what we mostly know them as, and it's like societal flaws. I don't like to call them that. These things that a lot of times people don't like about themselves, I think are so interesting. That's just not a flaw to me, so I can't call it that. Like it's a physical quirk, like it's different. And that's coming from someone who used to try to undo all the unique things. Like I feel like the elephant in the room, my hair. Another unpopular one, like don't come at me, I mean you can, but I'm still gonna say it. Something that's very chic to me, signature fragrances. That's not all, wait, signature fragrances and gatekeeping it. Not only finding your signature fragrance, but gatekeeping and not telling everybody what it is. This has nuance to it, okay? I did share my journey. I shared a whole video. I said my journey. Like, girl, you went to the store and smelled perfumes. I wouldn't call it a journey. I shared a video about how I was looking for a signature fragrance, and I did not find it in that video. So there was really nothing to show you. Like, after some more searching, digging, trying, living in the scents, I did find my signature scent. And I think the best signature scents are the ones that you cannot put your finger on. Somebody walks by you and they smell really good, but you can't be like, you're wearing this, I know exactly what you're wearing, because you don't know. Like it kind of smells a little mysterious, and not everybody's signature scent needs to be mysterious. That's just a preference for me. Me being a through and through vanilla girl, I love the smell of vanilla. It's so cozy and warm and comforting for me. But I knew I didn't want my signature scent to be that, because I didn't want anybody walking up and being like, you smell like vanilla. Well, that's no fun. Where's the mystery in that? Like, I just didn't want a very expected scent, because I feel like that's what takes away from the signature. I feel like the perfect example is the Baccarat. Is it Baccarat Rouge? It's a beautiful perfume, okay? It smells really good. But I think there was an ongoing joke about, like, you'll walk into a restaurant in Atlanta and you'll smell like the food in Baccarat Rouge. I'm not saying I would never wear that scent, but it would never be like a signature for me, because I think a signature should be, you know, specific to you. And that's not to say like nobody else has it on. Obviously, it's mass produced. Other people have it, but it's like not everybody can put their finger on it when they smell you. And so that's where it kind of comes into play, where you kind of have to gatekeep a bit. And when I say gatekeep, I don't mean like if a woman walks up to you in person and says, "Oh my gosh, you smell so good. What are you wearing?" And you're like, "I don't know." Which, I mean, you have the right to pretend that you don't know what you're wearing or that you don't want to tell them. That is your right. I personally, I'm not that person. With my new signature perfume, I've had other people run me down for somebody else in a dentist's office to ask me what I'm wearing. And I literally wrote it down for the girl. If you catch me on the wild, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I'm wearing. Gatekeeping in the sense of social media. And that is because, like, if somebody comes on TikTok and they're like, "This is my signature scent. Everybody stops me and asks me about this." 800,000 people see it, and now you got like 80,000 likes on it. Not to mention the people that saw it, they might make a video too, and it's a domino effect. Girl, you gotta find a new signature scent now. Super chic, find a signature scent, and gatekeep it. Don't tell everybody that's your signature. And I will tell people online like what perfumes I'm wearing. I probably just won't share my signature scent because it's a signature. But like I said, if you meet me in person, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what it is. Do with that information what you will. They might tell everybody, this is the scent that she has on, like they did Rihanna. See, Rihanna tried her best to have a signature scent, and then everybody was like, "It's Killian, love, don't be shy." And now it's not very signature-y, is it? She probably had to find a new one. Another thing I find very chic in the beauty category is multiple use makeup items. Even if they're not even meant to be that, I feel like sometimes a makeup item will be presented and marketed as one thing, and I'm gonna use it for like multiple things. Like when brands come out with a blush that you can use like not only on your cheeks, but you can put it on your lips, you can use it as contour, as eyeshadow. Super chic. That is all I have for you today. I've chic'd you to death, so I'm not gonna chic you anymore. Let me know if there's anything in your life or anything that you've noticed or like to like really stick to that you find very chic, or even if you have a different definition of what chic is to you, let me know that too. I think the thing about chic, what makes it so interesting is it can be kind of different for everyone. It varies, and I think that's really cool. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, if you did, you know what to do. Thumbs up, comments, let's talk about it. And I will see you in the next video. Mwah!